All right, what's up next? Opportunity Social Families is Juwan Buford, your host this episode, and really excited to have an incredible guest, Miss Christa Stephens. I'm gonna let her tell her story. I'm not gonna steal any of her thunder, but what I want to encourage everyone to do is do us a huge favor, like, subscribe, hit the notifications, let the social media algorithm know that the information you received was valuable and of help. We know that sharing is caring, so of course we encourage that as well. And look, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. So here, this is what we do. We provide this episode and episodes for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, so individuals can have the information, the motivation, the inspiration, the technical assistance, and know how to level up and launch and establish and grow and scale their business successfully. And once again, if you can't tell, I'm on 10 about this, right? I've been waiting for the opportunity to talk to Ms. Christa Stephens. We met at a Ladies League of Detroit, a virtual talk. Mm-hmm. And I remember listening to your contributions. And, my business is like organized noise. That's what I call it. It's organized noise. Like, it's amazing that I get stuff done. Because not enough of what I need to do is automated. And I was listening to you talk about automations and actually have a plan for social media marketing and having a digital presence. And I was like all ears. And I knew I had made up my mind before you realized it, that I was going to invite you as a guest and get as much free information as possible from you about how I can automate my business. So, without further ado, Ms. Christa Stephens, hey, let our audience know what you do. Why did you fall in love with entrepreneurship? Like, how are you making an impact in the world?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, hey, friends. My name is Christa. And a few quick things about me. I love to make an impact. I love to help people. And I started my business back in 2020. And my business actually helped small businesses as well as creative entrepreneurs get their business out there. And we do this by doing web design, as well as branding and social media management. So the cool thing about my business is that we do automations, just like Joanne was saying. So some of those automations can go by Zapier, some of them can go by Calendly. There's a whole list of automations that I have. And I really, 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 really love technology because my background is very diverse. I actually graduated from Wayne State University almost 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago at this point, with a degree in geology. And from there, I hopped into environmental health and safety. And then I went to software development and then yoga. And then I went to design. And then now I'm where I'm at now.
I love it. I love it. So I just want to dive right into this. Because I hear a lot of individuals, of course, talk about automating things, right? And I know it's important. I know that I should not take out my phone and literally manually be posting 3 to 4, 5, 6 sites at the same, one at a time on my phone. Like, that's not an efficient way to do things. Like, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the kids are up and making demands on me. And that'll take 2 hours uploading videos to your phone to these different platforms, right? So I was listening to you and I was like, okay, it sounds good during the talk. And then you said something that really caught my attention. You were like, well, what tools are you kind of utilizing to communicate with, parties, and what tools are you using to kind of give yourself almost like a schedule in terms of when you create content, how it's created, what are the stories you tell, all this fun stuff. And I was like, okay, I need to chat with her, right? One of the piece of advice you gave me is to start utilizing Slack. And I was using Slack, but I was doing it all wrong. Like, I had like 10 Slack channels. And then you showed me how I could actually get in contact with communities on Slack. And I could use one channel to automate everything. Like, I'm assuming most entrepreneurs, I shouldn't assume maybe, because I think maybe most of them aren't nearly as chaotic as me. But I'm assuming you run into individuals who had the same challenges and issues I have. So walk us through the process. Like, how are you helping these folks out?
Yeah, sure. So when someone comes to me, their business is, for lack of better words, sometimes in a mess. And what happens is that I say, okay, what's your main pain point? Are you tired just in general? Are you having trouble figuring out where all of your notes are? Like what's really going on? And then we start with that main pain point. So, for example, one of my clients, they have issues with putting all their notes together. You know, they have lots of different pieces of paper all on their desk. So I say, hey, let's start out with maybe using OneNote or Evernote. And the cool thing is that when you use OneNote, you can connect it to Microsoft Office. And you can also connect Microsoft Office to this cool CMS or CRM service called Close. Close is Close. And that actually creates an automation that will tell you, hey, I haven't spoke to Jawan in 2 weeks. So let me follow up with him. Here's all the notes that I've ever taken about Jawan. Oh, let me search to see when I actually first spoke with him. And here's that first note. Oh, here's when his birthday is too. Let me tell him about his kid. Here's his kid's birthday too. And that's all in that one system too. And you can even create a calendar reminder too, based on that one automation. So that's some different tools that I use and help people strategize with creating automation. So it could be just one simple thing like that, or we can create something that's extremely robust, starting with Airtable, saying, hey, here's all of the services that you've ever had and listing them out and figuring out exactly where those services connect to. And then maybe connecting it to Trello, saying, okay, here's some different projects that can go to it as well. So I don't know, I'm getting so excited about it because I just love using technology and helping people and things like that. So that's a different way. It depends on what the person's needs are, as well as the automations that it can go with it.
So what are some of the common problems you're solving out there? Like, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see entrepreneurs making?
Hmm. That's a really, really good question. It's definitely case by case, but I would
Mhm.
say one of the biggest maybe issues that entrepreneurs are making is not knowing what's the correct tool to use,
Mhm.
or using the tool incorrectly. So, for example, maybe using Airtable incorrectly. So, Airtable is, think of a very robust Excel document. Um,
Mhm.
for Airtable, maybe someone's actually just using it for pictures. And you can actually use it to store all different types of data, right? So that's one way someone could be maybe not utilizing it to its full potential.
Hmm. Okay. So I remember at one point during the talk,
Mm.
an entrepreneur said, like, what are some of the first things I should do when I'm first starting out? So her service and her product was beta tested, right? She was acquiring clients. And she's like, okay, I'm finally ready to start getting organized. And you know the typical advice is people tell, well, get your LLC set up, and then okay, set up your website, and then okay, get your landing page together, and then okay, now you need a CRM, and then now you need to establish yourself on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever the case may be, and then you need to turn around and learn your KPIs. And so, I mean, all valuable advice, all good things that she needed to hear. But what caught my attention, you said, no, we need a mind map.
Yeah.
And I've and I've heard that a million different times. And I was like, mind map. I know what you mean academically. And I know I've probably done it and didn't realize I was doing it in a real rudimentary way. But talk to me, why did mind map, why did that hit your mind for individuals who need to understand how a mind map can help them get started correctly? Like, elaborate.
Yeah, so mind mapping, this is my therapist. I actually want to shout my therapist out for this. She actually told me about mind mapping because, at least with me, as well as a lot of creative entrepreneurs, what happens is that we have millions of ideas that we can't actually execute on at one time. And we need to figure out exactly what direction we're going into, right? So,
Mhm.
what you do is you take yourself and you put yourself in the center and you say, okay, what is it that I actually want to do? And you say, okay, I maybe want to go dancing and I want to, start a new movie script and I want to do this. And then you put those into different bubbles and you say, okay, dancing, movie scripts and things like that. And then you start branching off on those different ideas and you say, okay, what happens if I do this? And then you branch off further, further, further from there. And so with that mind map, what happens is that you can potentially start a business plan with that and say, okay, if I started this movie script, what does that look like? How can I get people involved? Is there actors and things like that? If you decided to do the dancing and things like that, that's how you work. So what happens is that you can use it as a journal or as a launching point so you don't get bogged down with having all the ideas in your head. You're using it as like a journal and a launching. So when my therapist told me that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to implement this for business and tell all my clients about this. And it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
As I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Mhm.
So I know that's certainly the case with me, right? And I tell people all the time, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it, right?
Exactly.
And then of course the trap that I know I will admit I personally fall into, and I've been, told this a million times, we always underestimate what we can get done long term and overestimate what can be done short term. And sometimes it's just better if you can just make progress, even if incrementally, when you have different projects going on. And so now I'm better understanding what you were sharing, right? When you talk about mind mapping, what you're basically saying is capsulating each ideal and kind of breaking it down and putting its own separate bubbles. And of course, prioritizing which ones matter most, right?
Yep.
That's kind of like the strategy we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Yep.
So the other thing that caught my attention when I was listening to you, because look, a lot of people are doing the whole marketing, graphic design, let me help you, get your digital presence right. Right. And as I was listening to you, for me, it was interesting because you were like, you're helping people, but you're also building as you help people as well. Like you're still in the process of growing and establishing your brand. Um, and this isn't an easy space to operate in. I mean, like I said, everybody and your mama, you got people reading a book, they've read a book, watched a YouTube video, and now I'm starting to spend some advice about entrepreneurship and helping other people. So it's a lot of folks flooding this space, right? Why did you choose this? For individuals who are like, I want to do this. I want to help people with their marketing, their digital online presence. Like, what motivated you to choose to work in this space?
Mm. I would say the pillars that I built my business on is transparency, ease, empowerment, mentorship. So that is the main reasons as to why I decided to go into this space, because it allowed me to build in this space with transparency, ease, empowerment, mentorship. So I did my mind map and I said, hey, I'm a creative person. I have a diverse set of skills. What can I do with transparency, ease, empowerment, mentorship? Because mentorship is extremely important to me, especially being a Black woman that is educated from Detroit, the east side of Detroit. I want to be able to empower other people that look like me, not only in this city, but in the entire world. How can I do that? Get on the internet. Okay, I love designing. I love art. Who else loves designing and art? How can I work with other creators as well as designers who love doing the same thing? So I just went to the good friend Google and then start figuring it out. My most recent journey, which was being a yoga instructor, I built a business doing that. I had a really large, at least I think it was large, social media following. And I traveled around the US doing different classes and things like that, as well as teaching. And I said, you know what? I'm pretty good with posting on social media. My posts are doing pretty good. Other people were paying me, sending me things as well. Like I was getting paid endorsements and things. I was like, maybe it's a career here. So I started transitioning into that. And I told a few friends and they said, hey, I love the designs you're already doing. Let's do this. I already built websites before being a software developer. So I said, social media management, check. Web design, check. I already know how to build a brand because it's already combined together. Project management, I learned that in college from my degree. Well, that's a company. So I
Like it.
put it together. Yeah. So that's definitely how I got into this niche. And then really curating this niche is realizing that there's a uncatered market for photographers, for home health, for the automotive, like the different mom and pop shops and things like that. So I said, you know what? Let me cater to those people because nobody's actually reaching out to them too. And I just connected the two mentorship to people that's across the world that is, in their 19, 20-year old and things like that. And I said, hey, I got the skill. Let me mentor you. We can work on these projects together.
I
Company.
like it. So, so you said a lot there, and I'm about, so like I said, I'm trying to get as much good information as I can. You said you started up this business. You said yoga, traveling, and you built an online presence where people are willing to compensate you for the content you were sharing. So I'm about to go there. What was the strategy? What do you mean you were posting stuff and built an online presence? Like, talk to me. What did this process look like?
Yeah, sure. So, not that long ago, maybe 2016, I was living here, but I was pregnant. I did not like that I was still working in the factory. I was an environmental health and safety manager. And with that, I had to work with the EPA, Department of Homeland Security, and things like that, and help chemical manufacturers make sure that they were compliant with their chemicals. And I'm talking some really nasty chemicals like formaldehyde,
Mm.
cyanide, all of that stuff. And I was like, really pregnant. Doing this, harm for me, harm for my baby. Let's get out of here. And health was really important, just like it is now. So I said, what can I do to protect myself, my baby, and my family? I'm going to shoot some yoga videos and show people how I'm doing yoga for myself, as well as being a plus size Black woman that's in Detroit. I just shot a few videos in the backyard and it blew up.
Oh, so hold on.
Yeah.
You said one day I'm gonna take my phone or whatever tool you had.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go in my backyard. I'm just gonna do yoga.
Yeah, I just started doing yoga. So I guess I can backtrack a little bit like that. I did have a background in yoga from college. The first time I did yoga was learning
Hmm?
it on a video game. It was the Wii U and Wii and things like that. And I put it down for a while. I went to a gym, Lizette Gym that's in Detroit. And then Trina Campbell, her last name changed, but Trina, she actually taught me how to do yoga. And I said, hey, I love this. Let me do this. And she was like, okay, I'll teach you. And I ended up learning, getting into the teacher training program for her. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I ended up becoming a certified yoga instructor. Like when I pick up something, I'll end up becoming like either the master or the whatever for it. Like I'll get the certifications and things because that's just the type of person I am. So
Yeah.
what'd you say?
No, I'm just listening. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So from there, I got the certification and I left yoga alone for just a minute. But then, once I got pregnant, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna start doing yoga. And I just started doing the videos, taking pictures and things like that, and posting online. And people, it was like a yoga magazine. They said, "Hey, we like what you're doing. Here's some free stuff." And I was like, "Oh, people are giving me free stuff for just doing yoga in my backyard. I got jewelry, clothes, money."
Okay. So okay. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to get. You just took photos and pictures using what? Your phone, iPad, tablet.
Yeah. And it was an Android too for all the iPhone haters. Yeah.
And so, where were you posting these photos and pics and stuff at? Like, where at?
On Instagram. Yep. Instagram and
On the
Facebook.
gram. Okay.
Yep. On the gram.
And people saw your content on the gram and said, I want to help her out. I want to participate. This is like, what's up?
Yeah. So I was doing meditations as well. I was doing
Hmm.
blog posts. I was doing like a monthly like a mindful meditation and things like that. And then I started teaching too. So I loved it. I still do teach. It's just not online, but yes, I love teaching.
So you were doing the posts. So we got the photos. You're doing yoga
Yeah.
videos. You're doing yoga.
Hmm.
You're recording your meditations and sharing it.
Hmm.
But you're doing some other stuff too. You said you're blogging.
Yeah, I was blogging, and that definitely helped my website go up too, and that's how I learned about SEO, search engine optimization.
Okay, now you hit something else on. So you were blogging,
Yep.
and people can find the blog on your website.
Yep.
And so that increased your visibility online.
Yep. It sure
So,
did.
so instead of having a blog separate from the website, the blog was on the website.
Yep. The blog was on the website. So what I did, because I realized that unfortunately people don't read. So what I would
Mm.
do is copy and paste parts of the blog, put it on Instagram post, and be like, "Hey, you want to read more? Go to the blog." And so it would just funnel there. And what would happen is that it was making a backlink, right? So it was boosting the SEO that was on the website as well as Instagram, because Instagram is a website too. So it was showing that, hey, this person, this user is also posting on Instagram and they're posting on this website too. So let's push these results up. So when you were typing in my yoga studio, Course Queen Yoga, you would see she's at the top here. So anytime someone wanted to learn about me, the first time you popped in Course Queen Yoga, she was at the top of all the search engines.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I just learned something right there. Instead of having my blog separate, I need to take my blog and actually put it on my website.
Yeah. So what you can do is, and this is something that I do, is make sure you create focused keywords for your industry. So a focused keyword is something that you're going to utilize across all of your marketing and everything like that. So similar to your name. So your name's Jawan. Anytime someone sees you, they're going to see this focused keyword too. So it's Jawan's
Uh,
amazing thing. And you're going to put that in your blogs. You're going to put that in your Instagram, anywhere. So that's what you're going to be known for. And that's going to help you with your search engine optimization. It's going to be amazing. So I figured that out and was like, oh, okay, this is how this works. So a lot of the things that I learned was one Google search here. Okay, how does this lead? Go into there, go into there. Oh, there's education for this. Let me get certified. So,
I love it. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So the person like me, where I have my business page, right, on Google, actually gets pretty decent traffic. It's fascinating. I have my blog. I have, of course, Instagram accounts. I have my Facebook, personal Facebook business. I have, I just started doing TikTok, which is interesting. Like I'm getting a lot of love on TikTok. I was not expecting that. Um, and of course, LinkedIn is like my bread and butter, right? So how are you helping individuals? Because a lot of business owners I deal with, they want to do social media, but they're stuck there. They're like, where do I post? How do I post? What tools are out there so it's not a time suck? Because that's the tension, right?
Yeah.
I know when I wake up, I have to stay relevant online, but I got to meet my clients. I got to learn. I got to read. I have to do the things that are necessary so I can be of value to them. And then I got to transition and do the social media thing. Like,
Yeah.
how are you helping people balance that? Like, what are the strategies you're employing or you sharing with people?
Well, I always tell people what feels comfortable to you. That's the main question that I start with. What feels comfortable to you? And then I say, what do you have time for? And then that's where we actually start planning. So, what do you feel comfortable with? Oh, I only feel comfortable with LinkedIn. Okay, that's where we're going to start, because a LinkedIn person isn't going to go on TikTok, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to create a strategy for a person that's on LinkedIn to be like, hey, let's go on TikTok and then just like start chopping it up on, like, it's not going to work. So then from there, well, what do you want to do? Like, how is this going to work for you? What's your everyday life like? because at the end of the day, we can only do so much for you. You still have to engage with your people, right? So if someone sends you a message on TikTok and you're not comfortable with TikTok and responding in that platform, it's not going to work for you. But
Right.
if you're on LinkedIn and you're comfortable with LinkedIn and someone sends you a message and you're like, oh, okay, I can engage with this person. So that's where we start. What do you feel comfortable with doing? And what's your capacity? What time do you have? So do you only have like a hour a week to maybe dedicate to this, or do you have like 20,000 hours a week or something like that? So that's where we actually start. And then another good question is trying to determine what like where's your marketing has been in the past too, because if the person has only done like paper marketing, so like doing the door mailers and things like that, then we may only want to just start out on like a Facebook or something like that, because everyone in the world is on Facebook, but not
Hmm.
everybody is on TikTok. So it definitely depends. It's kind of case by case. So in those conversations, I have to let people know like what the value is about being on different social media platforms, because each and every platform is different.
Okay. I like it. So first start out where you're comfortable.
Mhm.
So whatever platform I guess is easiest for you to manage and navigate.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So what if you already have an established account and talking about a certain subject or topic, right? And you want to go a different direction. You want to start covering different types of content.
Mhm.
Should you like wholesale, like delete the content on an account? Should you just say, okay, today I'm gonna start doing stuff new type of content, just post new content and hope people
Mhm.
don't jump ship because they're coming to your page for one thing, now they get something totally different? Do you advise people to just set up a new page altogether, like whether it's Facebook or Instagram or any of those channels? Like, what would you encourage people to do?
So I had to do this myself. So
Yeah.
the best advice I would suggest is sprinkle the stuff in, right? So
Mm.
imagine if you're going to your family events, right? And you're like, hey friends, hey family, I'm about to start maybe going into clown school. It's a huge transition, right? So what you maybe want to do is be like, hey guys, I'm going to the clown store, going to pick up some makeup. Y'all want to come with me? Here's my journey to doing this. Oh, okay. Y'all, I got my wig today. So you want to start transitioning into it. You don't want to just be like, all right, boom, I'm a clown. So, I mean,
Yes.
you could, but it's going to be a shock to people like, oh, what's going on? And then they're going to start scrolling, start commenting, things like that. Because what you want to do a lot of times with social media is put yourself in those shoes and be like, how would I react if I saw this myself? What would I do? I'd unsubscribe. I'd unfollow. I don't know who this person is. This ain't who I originally signed up to be. So I would generally just like ease into it. When I transitioned from doing yoga into doing what I am now, I was like, oh, okay. Hey guys, I'm building a website. Here's the process. Oh, hey, here's a color palette for this yoga thing that I did. Oh, hey, have you considered doing branding for yoga this way? And then I eased into it. It was like, oh, here's some services. So I would transition into it like that, as opposed to just going completely nuclear and deleting things. Because if you did that, then you'd have to worry about starting a whole new following as well, which is
Yeah. So, okay. So I use Buffer right now.
Mhm.
I like it. Sometimes I don't, right? Because I know there are other tools out there, but I've gotten accustomed to Buffer, so I have not migrated away from it. I'm just it's doing what I need to do. For
Mhm.
individuals who need to post on multiple platforms, but they're on a beer budget, right? They're not trying to fake and act like they're on the champagne, trying to live a champagne life on a beer budget. They know they're bootstrapping on the beer budget. What are some of the tools you'd recommend or use for individuals who need to post on multiple platforms? They're creating content.
Mm. So I love free tools. because free is the best way to start. There's nothing wrong with having multiple email addresses and using multiple free tools.
Okay.
That's
Oh
a-
my goodness.
Listen, there's cheat codes for everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not going to kick you out the system. Use, 3 email addresses if you need to. It works. There is, yeah, there is this website. It's called melanator.com. It allows you to get fake email addresses.
It
There
allows you to
are
do what now?
to get fake email addresses. There's websites that allow
Stop
you
it.
to, yeah, there's websites that allow you to get fake, what's the name of it? Phone numbers, fake SMS codes, like anything you can think of. There's
Okay,
an
so
automation for it.
Melanator.
Yeah.
You know I'm looking it up right now. Melanator. I'm about to earmark this. Okay, Melanator email.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, either it's .com or .org or something like that, but
No, I got it.
Yep.
Now, hold on. We're not done yet. So you also said SMS, because that drives me crazy, right? So I have like over 3,000 to 6,000 contacts. And I would like to at least engage maybe 25% of them via text message. You can only send out so many text messages from your phone or online services, whatnot. And you said, does this tool also create like different phone numbers that you can text from?
No, but there is other ones where you can actually put in to get a free phone number or do free SMS text messaging, though. I don't remember that one off the top of my head, but I can't get that to you because I have like the whole list of it. So, but I don't, because I know we're on the call. But even with a simple Google, like if you have the idea for it, all you have to do is put in free, the idea, and then press enter.
Okay. You're funny. That's funny. I love it. Okay. So the Slack thing.
Yes.
Because I have I don't knock any of the platforms. They are what they are. They do what they do. I don't get, for me, they're tools. So, I'm not trying to pretend to be something I'm not on each and every single channel. I do me, and it is what it is. So I transitioned to Slack because the one thing I do know, at least from my experience been with Facebook, is that if you're communicating with people in these groups on Facebook and you're trying to coordinate with teams and all that fun stuff, people will jump on Facebook. They may look at your posts, but then because there's so much other entertainment and other things going on, yeah. So when you brought this business about Slack to my attention, I never even thought to look for other Slack communities. It never crossed my mind. I just set up the channel, said, okay, I'm gonna communicate my team here. There's less distractions. And of course, it's a newer tool. So you got to go through the process of getting people integrated and, getting them to behave and do something that they typically wouldn't do, right? Which is utilize certain new technology. But then you told me about these channels on Slack, these groups. Yeah. How did you discover this? Like, how are you using Slack to build your business? I want to know.
Oh, yeah. So how I discovered Slack was during the pandemic. I was working at a job that I didn't particularly like. And I said, hey, how can I transition out of this job? I put it in Google. And then one Google search led to the next. And I said, okay, here's my skill set. I like designing. Where's a design community where I can join? And then it said, here's some Slack communities. And I was like, oh, okay, I know what Slack is. Slack is it's similar to Facebook Messenger, but what it is that it allows you to communicate with people in just a chat forum, but across the world. So I said, let me see how far across the world that it'll let you communicate. So I found this Slack community. It's called UX Rescue. That was the first one that I actually joined. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Who's the owner of this Slack community? Because again, my personality type is to go all the way to the top. I don't start at the bottom.
I love it.
Yeah, I found the owner of the Slack community. Her name was Dahi. She's in Korea. And I was like, wow, she's really cool. And she is the nonprofit owner of UX Rescue. And I was like, wow, do you need help? I'm trying to learn more about design. And she gave me all these articles and things like that. And she said, hey, you're really good at this. Would you like to be on the board and help other nonprofits? Sure. So
Okay.
I ended up becoming the board member of UX Rescue and then helping people in Africa by, doing that. So that's how I ended up becoming, the part of that community. But to actually find out more about Slack, all you have to do is just go onto Google, type in Slack, and then, whatever community you're looking for. So Slack communities for design, Slack communities for startup businesses, Slack communities for whatever you want. But how I use it for my business is to communicate with my team. So my team is in the Philippines, they're in Florida, and I also have one person that is in Africa that I contract with sometimes. And what we do is that everyone has their own login and we communicate for different projects that we're working on. And so the different channels are for the company. So, company ABC is its own channel and we put all of the files related to there. And we say, hey, is this done for this project? And we communicate in there. Company X, Y, and Z is in another channel, communicating there. So everything is neat and tucked away. And the amazing thing about Slack is that it has automation. So when something is done in Slack, you can automate and say, send a message to Trello, which is the project management tool, and say, hey, this part is done. You can't beat it.
Oh, okay. So now, yes. Now I remember now. So
Yeah.
I was okay. Automations through Slack, and I started seeing how I could use automations in my Google Drive and some other stuff. And then you mentioned Trello, and I was like, so if I connect my Slack, and then of course when I saw it was free to do it, I was like, okay, now I'm really okay. So this is what I was waiting on. This is what I was really waiting. I was waiting on a lot of stuff. This is what I was really waiting on. So talk to me. How is connecting my Slack to Trello? What does Trello do? Like, how does it?
Yeah. So Trello, oh my gosh, is one of my favorite tools, right? So project management is my all-time favorite thing to do. Like I got the whiteboard, and this was like one of the first project management things. I got my dates.
Like I'm looking at that. So
right?
each little box, there's a project that you're working on.
Yeah.
Like you're putting me to shame right now because I have my, I got my Franklin planner and I can see it like that. But when you put it on a board like that, it's different.
Yeah.
Visualizing like that is different. Yeah.
So this here is how I kind of started my company. I got this, and then I got a little piece of paper here because for me, I need to visually see it. I'm a visual learner. And I said, okay, how can I keep track of my clients' dates, like the very important dates? And I said, okay, I know that we need a team meeting so that I can strategize with my team. I know that I need to send things to my clients. And I also know that we need to post things, and then I need to do accounting too. So that's pretty much where I started. And then I built things based on that within the calendar. And I said, okay, I also have a child who likes to mess stuff up. So how can I take this board from here and then automate it? So my whole goal is that I do a lot of risk things too, because it happened when I learned project management from environmental health and safety. So if my house burns up, or if someone comes in and takes the board away, it's just some random things, right? How can I make sure that my clients are protected, all their information is protected too? Automation. So I took this and I put it in Trello. Trello allows me to keep track of dates. It allows me to take all of this information for when clients' information is due, how to do the information for the client, just all of those little bits and pieces into Trello. And then it allows me to connect it to my team too. So my team can go into Trello and then they are able to actually see, here's how you execute on each piece of this project here. And then it can check it off too. And then go from
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm understanding.
Yeah.
So Trello is like that board,
Yes.
except it's digital.
Yes.
So the people you work with can go to your online digital Trello board, and they can see progress and all the different things that need to be done and provide feedback, check stuff off. You can get to see it all. And then you said it automates some things. Like, what does it automate? Like,
so if something gets checked off, it is sent directly to Slack. It says, hey, Krista, this is done. Or, hey, project
you stop
manager.
it. Wait, hold on. So hold on. So I need someone to edit a video. They go to Trello. They're looking at the notes and all this fun stuff. And then it gets done.
Yep.
And they check it off. And then it sends a message to the Slack channel saying, hey, Cindy, Sue, Rebecca, Regina, whoever, just complete this project. I get notified on Slack.
Yes, sir. Yep. You can also get an email printout too of all of the work that was completed that week if you set it up like that.
Okay, so hold on. So I manage sales teams, like sales teams, different. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could put a goal for the sales team, like, look, we really need to do this week. And 3-4 people could commit to doing this. And we just do updates on the Trello part. And then when we hit the goal, everyone checks off what they committed to, I will get the notification in Slack.
Yeah. And if they didn't do it, then it'll say, hey, you got 3 days left to do it. Yeah. Like technology. So let me blow your mind even more.
So
okay?
now I don't have to call people.
Nope.
So same thing with some of my, I'm not going to go too deep. So, I try to keep some stuff clandestine. I can move in silence sometimes, but okay. Yeah. So let's say I got a real estate deal. I can post a real estate deal there with all the details. And the people I'm working with to make this happen, we're updating each other there. And when, there's certain things need to be checked off, right? Certain steps need to be taken to get to the finish line. They could be working, we could all be coordinating, talking, chatting, working on this here. And then the updates are going to Slack. So that means I'm not going to 4 or 5 different platforms trying to find everything. I can literally just be looking at one platform, keep me up to date on all the different projects and to-dos that need.
Yep. You can upload your documents to the Google Drive. It'll say, hey, new document uploaded to Google Drive, and it will give you the notification for it. You can, say, hey, here's the deadline. It'll say, hey, here's the deadline for it, and it'll alert the entire team. So I want to tell you about this new technology, right? Called, I think I started with it, ChatGPT.
Okay.
So
ChatGPT.
Yep, GPT. If you want to create a actual
Gary
script,
Paul Tom.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So if you want to create a actual script to outreach to your clients, right? And say, hey, my name is Joanne. I am doing X, Y, and Z for you. And I want to, gain your business interest and stuff like that. You can actually put it into this Chat GPT, and it will actually create an outreach script for you for your specific.
Okay, hold on. So to help my retention, every now and again, I just don't have the bandwidth, right? I don't have the bandwidth to get in contact with all my clients by, hey, what's up? We ain't checking, don't have it. So I could kind of create a script. This tool would turn around. I just pulled it up. This tool would turn around and I guess, so I verbalize the script. It would document the script. It would, and then I could just give it to other people.
Yep, and they do it for you. Yep.
So would it do it for me, or am I giving someone else access to my credentials and they use the script to do it?
Is it okay if I screen share and I can show you? Is that okay?
You know what? I normally don't do it. I
Okay.
want to, because this is of interest to me.
Yes. So what I'm gonna do is
Okay, so I gotta hold on.
okay.
Rochelle, I apologize. She's gonna be like, Juwan, you've gone too far. My co-host is like, what are you doing?
No worry. Listen, I'm gonna show you all something really amazing. Let me refresh the screen. It may be a dead air for some time. It's just for a few moments. So the technology that I'm getting ready to show you guys is called OpenAI. The specific technology is called ChatGPT.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. This is screen 2. Okay. What you do is a prompt-based technology. Okay. So you need to put in a prompt down at the bottom here. It gives you examples. It tells you what the capabilities is as well as the limitations. So I already have a canned response ready. This is something that I will be doing for my business after vacation is over. So I'm going to paste in what my prompt is. It says, can you tailor this response for reaching out to a photographer? So here is a script that I already use or will be using for my business, and I want to use it for this technology. It says, hey, I came across your website or specific social media account and noticed that observation. I reached out and my team does this and that can impact you. I'd love to hear from you. It sounds interesting. I'm going to press enter. Okay, and what it's going to do is rewrite the script. It's going to take a second because it's thinking. So here's the revised message.
Man, I got so many uses for this.
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously you can add in whatever additional information that you need. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, so now these messages are generated. So what happens next?
You can copy and paste it and say, let's say, please alter to add client's name, name of Juwan.
So it's gonna say hi, Juwan.
Should.
Okay.
So I'm just doing a very simple version of it.
Yeah.
So
I could basically verbalize a script to the team. They could come here and kind of clean it up, make it nice, professional, crisp, clean. And then now they have a script that they can circulate across platforms and utilize in their emails, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't have to sit down and manually type this stuff anymore.
No. I'm going to try something really quick just to see if it works. Okay. So LinkedIn.
Now, LinkedIn done changed their algorithm for real recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing some fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's another conversation at the time. We'll come back to that. Okay.
Okay. Can you create an outreach script based on this website? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Wow. So people who don't have strong grammatical or communication skills when it comes to writing, this is going to just clean them up.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Website. Here we go. Now I'm going to put in the LinkedIn one here. And we'll see here. Copy Okay. We'll see if this works. This is the first time I'm trying this. So this is me pulling the LinkedIn website. And they misspelled my name, but that's okay. But you see, it's pulling the information based on actual LinkedIn.
So you just copy and paste this stuff and keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
That's
But
interesting.
last part I'm going to show you, okay? Because this is something I'm working on. If you have the technology for it on your team, you can actually create the code so you can run your own script. So you're not dependent on it.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the end of the demonstration.
That is interesting.
Yes. So I just
Man. So I have so
share.
many individuals. I'll be chatting with them, having a conversation with them. It's like, why don't you just do what I do? I got these scripts. I just send them to people on LinkedIn. We exchange, we interact, and they be looking at me like a deer in headlights. Like, and it took me a while to figure out. Oh, they don't know, like.
Yeah, technology.
They don't know what verbiage to use. They don't know how to structure the sentence, and so because of that, they don't do it.
Yeah. So this is going to take out a lot of those barriers. Copywriting is it does it for you now. I am relooking at a lot of the services that I'm paying for. A lot of my operating expenses are getting ready to go out the window.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So there's Trello and Slack thing. It's got my imagination going. So, okay. All right. So
I know every time we talk, I give you something new.
Yeah. I'm like, and this is why I wanted people to hear this and know about you. Because you've created so many efficiencies in my business. Like it's so many little small pieces of nuggets and advice. Now I'm the type of person, like you don't need to convince me. I will try something if it makes sense and it's coming from someone more knowledgeable in the space than I am. People be spending all their day, inspecting the roots while other people are picking the fruit. I'm gonna go pick that fruit. So all right. So how are you this is what you do for a living.
Yep.
I was gonna ask how you find the time to find this stuff, but this is what
I do. Yep. So I have to find the thing so that I can be on the cutting edge. I need to do this so that I can provide it for my clients. So one, my clients don't go to someone else. Yeah. So that's I think that's what gives me my competitive edge. And then two, I am huge with building relationships. Like my clients have been with me since the start of my business, and I offer retainer services. So there's not many clients who have come in and out. Like most of my clients, they've been with me since the start, and I love it. One of my clients, they just called me and was like, I'm signing up for the whole year next year, and I was like, what? Okay. So,
yeah, because if you were saving, like I'm gonna tip jar you or something for this. Because if this Trello Slack thing does what I need it to do.
It's amazing.
Because time is time is money, right?
Yeah.
That's a text message, that's an email, that's a phone call. It's like, nothing takes the place of leadership. But anything you can do to kind of cut down on your time that you take to try to, when you're managing and holding people accountable, that's invaluable. I like it. Okay. So, because now, I don't even see you necessarily as just a digital marketer. Like, I know you do that for people and you help people create content and distribute it, which is a whole other conversation I want to have with you, by the way. Because I don't want to create, I want to, of course, I know I got to participate, right? So I got to create the content. but I'm trying to figure out where to distribute.
I love that you're flabbergasted.
trying to figure out where to distribute it, and then it not look dusty. Like you can get away with dusty content a little bit on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get away because people just going on TikTok doing whatever. But as you want to level up on, channels like YouTube, you want to level up a little bit on Instagram. You want to, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't use prettify. That's not really a word. You want to beautify your presence, right?
Yeah.
Add some professional flavor to it. It's like that stuff. I'm just like, no. Like, I know that's what you do. So at some point we got to have a conversation about like, what does that process look like, and how, what do you need from people? Because I think that's the other thing that business owners like start bugging out about. It's like, so I create this content, like, what do I do with it, right? How do I edit it? How do I, I don't want to know that stuff. I want to just give it to someone and y'all,
figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I have I have at least probably 10 hours. I was doing a radio show with someone. I got 10 hours of what I believe is really good content, stuff that people like. But I'm not about to sit on video trying to audit that. You know how long it would take me to audit all that content, to find snippets that are worthwhile that I think people would find them. I'm like, no.
Oh, I know. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't talk about that because other times we're running up against it. Like I would Q&A you to death for the next hour or so about that and what that looks like. I really would. Okay. So what tips would you share with entrepreneurs who are kind of like quite at the place I'm at, right? Because I don't put myself out there as a social media guru. People trying to contact me about that. I'm like, I'm not a social media guru. Like I built my following of almost 30,000 hours on LinkedIn, like belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, guerrilla warfare. Like no tricks, no tools, none of that. I literally met people like I would meet people at a coffee shop. That's how I built it on LinkedIn. So for people who are looking to build a network and following on these different platforms, like I said before, they don't want their time to be sucked. They don't want to deal with the time suck. Now, if you don't want to create the content, heaven help you, because you got to do the work. Like, can't get around that. But what tools would you recommend to individuals who are, they're getting online, they're doing little videos and they're recording their, minute, 90-second shorts, and every now and again, maybe doing a 10, 15-minute extravaganza.
Yeah.
What tools would you recommend to them to kind of help them at least get the process started and take away the anxiety, the performance anxiety?
I'm so glad you mentioned performance anxiety. So the first tool that I would first mention to anybody that especially being an entrepreneur, meditation. I know it's gonna sound that's gonna sound odd, but doing what we do.
I wasn't expecting that.
I know, but doing what we do, you have to ground yourself, especially with being on social media, because imposter syndrome, my God, you're going to see someone else that is doing 10 times better than you, and you're going to freak out about the progress that you're doing. You have to ground yourself first, and you have to meditate, because you're going to see that person and you're going to be like, I need to do better, and I need to go into this avenue and do this and do that. And you're not going to value what you're already doing. So meditate first. Make sure that you're writing out a plan for what you want to do. Make sure that it's actually what you want to do and not what the person on Instagram is doing, not what your mama wants you to do, your daddy or your friend. Do that first. Then from there, I would say determine what tools fit your budget, not your Instagram friend's budget, what tools fit your current budget. Then make sure that you are writing down your process. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged standard operating procedure. It could be something that's simple as answer emails every day, or I only answer emails from 9 to 5. And you stick to that plan. From there, that I think you can figure out what tools. So you can determine what tools based on the industry that you're in. If you're in the design industry, you know that, hey, I may need to use pens and pencils. Okay, what's the next step from that? Okay, I may need to use an iPad. So you have to start thinking linear. That's definitely something that I use in my business so that I don't go outward and I start thinking forward. Um, Another thing, because I started losing sight of the question that you asked. If you can repeat that question.
No, it's all good. No,
Yeah.
like, so for individuals who have the performance anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to create content. I want to, get the ball rolling in terms of posting. And, I want myself to be good. I don't want to be dusty. Right.
Yeah.
But you hit something on the nail on the head. So I was literally just talking to someone about the other day. She was comparing where she was at to another content creator who's crushing it. I mean, crushing it. And never mind, I remember when this guy first started out, like, his stuff was not the veneer and just the professionalism and just the aesthetics that he brings to the table now is smacking, right? It's on top. It's on 10. But it sucked in the beginning. I remember that process. But no one ever sees that, right? They see this stuff that's like professionally well manicured and done. They're like, I gotta do it that way. And it's not like I don't have person. It's not like I don't have the resources. I could do it. I just don't. Just the bandwidth to try to figure out what tools would be necessary, how to set my situation up.
Yeah. So the well manicured stuff doesn't always perform well. So that's the thing, because it looks like a computer created it. That's the thing. Usually when somebody is just like being really personal and they're like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and they're just speaking from the heart, that's the stuff that usually perform well. So when you're trying to educate people, when you're trying to inspire people, when you're out there, just being you, that's the stuff that performs well. When it's just maybe a little mistake, because people unfortunately are very human. They want to pick apart those very human things, like, oh, you made a mistake there, or oh, you look just like me. And so when stuff is like too manicured, they're waiting on your downfall, unfortunately. So you don't always want to put out something that's super manicured and it looks like super high def HD, all of the other D's and things like that. You want to put out something that speaks to who you are. So if it's maybe a Fortune 5,000 company and they've been around, they're like, the blue chip companies and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, it's manicured, but if you are, you're just starting out and you 10 days old as a company, it's impossible for you to make something that's super manicured. And it's definitely impossible for you to afford it, at least logically, I believe. So just go out there, pick a platform that you feel comfortable with, because if you hire someone to do it and then you can't afford to keep up that service, then you don't feel comfortable with doing it, then how can you keep it up? So pick a platform you feel comfortable with, get in front of the camera or go on Canva, find some different tools there and just start posting and say, hey, here's a day in the life of being.
No, you did not mention Canva.
Yeah.
I got questions about Canva. I use Canva because, like I said, man.
Canva is amazing.
Yeah. Canva's a phenomenal tool.
It's amazing.
And I'm probably only utilizing 1/10 of the capability on there.
It's amazing.
Like I just discovered you can record videos on Canva.
Oh yeah, you can. You can record tutorials there, pass it to your team. It's amazing.
Man, I'm gonna bring you back. There's a couple things I want to talk about. I want to talk about this whole ideal of creating content and then giving it to you and what you do with it and how you make that work. And then I want to talk about how to use Canva is a private company. The moment they go public, I'm investing.
Yeah. I think she's from Australia too, the woman, because it's a woman-owned company. Yeah.
Because if it can make someone like me look okay, then it's worth investing.
Yeah. It's good. You can do so many things with it.
Okay. So because we can go on and on. Like you coming back because I didn't get to half the questions I wanted to ask. But anyway,
Oh.
it's okay. It's all right. How do people get in contact with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Everywhere on social media, my name is Christa Stephens, LLC. On my website is christastevens.co. Spelling out my name is CHRISTA STEPHENS. And yeah, you can hit me up anytime. I love chatting with people, especially virtually, not so much in person. That's just a joke.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I ain't gonna let you
I
get away
love
with
being at
that.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let you get away with that. It's all good. I mean,
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely reach out if you have any questions. You know, we can do mentorship or anything. I love talking.
cool. Well, I thank you for taking time out to schedule. And man, there's so many different directions. Yeah, we bring you back because
Okay.
yeah, we bring you back. So yeah, everyone, NextOppSocial fam, as your listeners, once again, if you found content beneficial, entertaining, edutainment, whatever verbiage you want to use, once again, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the notifications, let the algorithm know that this information served you and of benefit. Sharing is caring. And until next time, we celebrate success in advance.